Happy Monday night. I almost said Friday. Goodness gracious. It has been a long day, but not that long. Oh. Happy Monday. Yes. Oh, well, hi, Andrea. I'm glad you could hop on. I was just sharing. Hey, Marty, just sharing. I almost said happy Friday. It has been a long day, but it wasn't quite that long. I think because I started going live on Friday afternoons, that I was probably still thinking of that. I don't know. Who knows? Too many crazy things going on for me to know the answer to that. So how is everybody? Hey, Marty. Yeah, I'm glad you could catch me live, Andrea. Hey, Erica. So, I don't know, did you all see my questions? I'm not only going to give an update. Hey, Barbara. Not only going to give an update on myself, but I'm going to ask you all some questions, too. Do you realize it's August? Mid-August already? The year's almost over. Ah! All right, well, be safe, Barb. Just listen. Don't try to comment. Driving and listening. Oh. Well, happy Monday night. I'm Mary Moss. I live in Richmond, Virginia. And I'm a writer, a speaker, author, Christian storyteller, retreat leader in my dream life. And then I always say I'm lucky enough to be an administrator for a large transportation project for the Department of Transportation here in Richmond in my day job. And it's fascinating, and I really enjoy the people that I'm working with. So I'm really blessed that I have a job that I enjoy that can help fund my dream life. So I do get the best of both worlds on my best days. Oh, good. I'm glad you read 2 books on prayer and wrote some. Good for you. That's wonderful. Well, I've just been thinking a lot. Since the retreat, I talked about how profound the experience was. It was for everybody, and it was for me. And I've really, I guess because of all the stuff with the funeral and everything right before, just trying to process everything and sort everything out. Hi, Stacy. I'm just now starting to really process some things that God laid on my heart. Hey, Geneva. While I was at the retreat and since. And, I was just thinking about leveling up. And by that I mean, like a lot of people, like all of us, we have the best intentions, and we say, I'm going to accomplish A, B, C, and D, and, I'm going to do it this way, and it's all going to turn out a certain way. But a lot of times, even our best intentions get in the way of us actually doing what we say we're going to do. The retreat was one exception, but that's because I wasn't doing that by myself by any stretch. It was a fantastic team of us doing that. But I just thought about some of the other things. Like I'm not going to say I got whiny, but I've been thinking like earlier in the summer, like that, I'd really like to get some speaking opportunities, and I'd really like to, to have some events where I can sell books. And God just kind of revealed to me that, okay, those are good goals to have, but I wasn't really being proactive. I wasn't really advocating for myself. I wasn't really looking actively for places where I could speak. Didn't even know what kind of places I might have that opportunity. Didn't really sign up for a lot of local author events and things. And for a lot of reasons, I guess. I don't want to say laziness, because I don't think that's what it was. But I just didn't do a lot of it. So after I got back from the retreat, I started reaching out and saying, hey, can you connect me with, what groups do I need to belong to? Who do I need to network with? Who do I need to know so that I can start aligning myself with people who are looking for speakers, for Christian storytellers, who are looking for authors to come and talk to them, who are looking for authors to be vendors at the events. And so by doing that, I'm now starting to fill up my calendar, not so much with the events themselves, but with opportunities that are going to introduce me to people who can head me in that direction. And it's just, God is so smart, isn't he? Once I started doing that, he started answering my prayer that I would have multiple opportunities. And I think so often he's ready to answer our prayers, but he's waiting for us to take the first step. He's not Santa Claus. He's not going to just deliver something at our feet because we want it. We have to do our part. He created us to have the ability and the knowledge and the wisdom, to make it happen. He needs us to use our God-given gifts and talents to make those things happen. So I realize that. Am I the only one who kind of gets in that conundrum? I want this. Hey, Jen, you want something, you want a situation. Hey, Andrea, you want opportunities, but you kind of just sit back and think, well, gosh, I'm not getting any opportunities. I'm not doing this. This isn't happening for me. So I know I'm not the only one. I won't ask anybody to admit it in writing on my live. But I know that's human nature, and I know there are a lot of us who get in that situation. So a lot of things are just kind of coming together. Yeah, hey, Jen, thank you. Thank you for affirming that I'm not by myself. So a lot of things have kind of been coming together for me, especially over this weekend. I was blessed to have some blocks of time to just kind of, be by myself and be in the Word and think and pray and get caught up on some writing and some other things that I was working on, and some things realigned that are going to allow me to kind of change direction a little bit, that are going to get me where I want to go. And of course, the reason I want to do all this is to share the good news. It's not, about glorifying myself. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Marty. Y'all are awesome. I don't want to glorify myself because, that's not what it's about. I want to share the gift that I have with others so that I can point them to God. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And so realizing that, I had to kind of give myself a kick in the pants and say, well, then you better get busy. Because people aren't going to come asking you, for the most part. So there have been a couple things. I've since joined a couple of groups that has speakers and presenters and people looking for them. So I'm starting to do some networking. I'm going to a conference so I can learn some things. I'm also going to be interviewed in November on a podcast, and I'll share all the details with that later down the road as it gets closer. But none of these things would have happened if I had just continued to sit back and wait for God to deliver, my heart's desire, the way I would ask Santa to bring me something at Christmas time. I realized that I had to level up, that I had to, had to adult and to really go after what I wanted if I was going to make it happen. I jotted down some notes because I don't want to leave anything out. Oh, I know another thing that I've noticed is once I started taking some actions, a lot of other actions started happening around that. I'm starting to make some other connections that I wouldn't have made if I hadn't taken the first step. Does that make sense? It's like the law of attraction. You know, you attract the energy that you put out. And so I'm seeing some of that happen. And I also think that part of it was maybe I was, I'm not going to say afraid, but that I really didn't have the self-confidence that I once had, and that I'm still building that up. I'm still working on that. After the retreat, I started feeling my prophetic voice return, and you know, I could see myself the way that I think God envisioned me to be, and that was really powerful for me. When I take on the role of one of the women in the Bible and portray her, I go to a place that I don't even know, I can't remember what I said. Obviously, I have a script, a loose script, but I go to a different place, a spiritual place, outside of myself, and that's really powerful, and that empowered me to use my voice again, which is so amazing, and I'm so grateful for that. And now I'm really excited to use it more and more. Yeah, self-confidence is always a work in progress, that's for sure. You know, and I was thinking yesterday, I don't remember what we were doing. Even something as simple as grocery shopping. You know, I don't know if you all realize this or remember this, but I was really sick in January and in the hospital for a few days, and I was really in bad shape, physically, emotionally, spiritually, but especially physically. And, you know, I was way overweight. All of my numbers were crazy off the scale, and the doctor was really concerned, and we were really concerned. So I had to take some really proactive steps, and I had fits and starts, but I knew that I needed to figure out my own path in that, and that I needed to find systems and you know, plans that were going to work for me. So I did start eating better. I cut out some things that I knew, like sugar is a terrible addiction for me. So I cut out a lot of refined sugars, and cut way back on carbs, and watch my portion control. And since I've started doing that, I've lost 14 pounds, which isn't a ton, but my doctor said, you know, focus on 1 pound a week. Focus on 1 pound a week, he said, and that's doable. And so far, I've been really close to that. I didn't worry about on the retreat. I ate macaroni and cheese because it was amazing, but I told myself that it was okay to indulge once in a while, just not to keep doing it, because it's a lifestyle change for the rest of my life, and it's not a diet for a set amount of time with a defined end. And so, you know, I have to lose this much weight by this time, because it's really not about the weight, it's more about being healthy. So yep, thank you. I'm kind of proud too. But anyway, I was able to carry in like 2 heavy bags of cloth grocery bags from the grocery store this weekend, and my husband was like, whoa, you carried both of those in? And I wasn't even winded. And I realized that from the exercising that I've been doing, while it's very light, that I've been getting stronger. And I didn't even realize it, because it seems so small. But I've got the treadmill installed here, and every morning I come out, and you know, I don't go very far and I don't go very fast, but every morning I increase the speed by 1%, and then the distance. And that's right, it's all about those 1% changes. And this morning I really wanted to keep going, because, you know, I finally, I guess, had worked up enough, what is that called, serotonin, where I wanted to, I'm going to try to go farther and farther and farther. And so I went more than 1%. I went quite a bit farther than usual. And then with my weights, my little light hand weights, and I did, more reps with those, and I was feeling really good. And tonight, my shoulders are really sore, and I can tell, and my legs, I can tell that I did more. But now I'm happy about that, because it means that my muscles are getting stronger. It means that I pushed myself. And I think about how God wants us to build our spiritual muscles too. We do one thing out of our comfort zone, one thing that's scary, and we do it, and then we get confidence to do the next thing. And so it's all tied together. And if we look at it that way, then we don't have to just focus. Hi, Shakita. We don't just focus on one thing. It has to be mind, body, spirit, because it's all tied in together. So that's kind of where I am. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on. We've already are well underway with planning for our next retreat. I'm not going to reveal any details right now, because we're still working out some things, and we want to honor the attendees at the first one and give them first notice and everything. But it's going to be amazing. We're already excited, and it's next year, the year away, and we're already excited about it, and looking forward to what God's going to do there, because I'm telling you, it was like he blew through that retreat center and just touched so many lives during that weekend, and it was really gratifying. And I think about what if I had never told my friends that that's something I left off my dream board? What if I had never spoken it? And it almost makes me cry to think about it, because of the impact that I saw on the lives of the people there. And what if they had said, oh, well, you should do that, and didn't chime in and say, well, we want to come alongside you and do that with you. We'll figure this out together. So what if none of us had listened to the nudging that God was doing in our lives, and had just said, no, we don't know how to do it. We're afraid. We don't know what we're doing. We can't do that. So that it's been a very powerful lesson, very important lesson for me. And I'm sharing that not to talk about myself, but to share, the encouragement to, if God presses something on your heart, you need to listen to him, and you need to figure out what he wants you to do, because it's important. And you will be glad that you did it, and he will help you grow your spiritual muscle while you're learning and growing. For me, while I'm on the treadmill in the morning, I'm praying as I'm on the treadmill, thanking God for the chance to get healthy. Thanking God that, I didn't stroke out and couldn't ever write again, because my brain was so, jumbled. I thank him every morning that I have the chance to make some changes that are going to allow me to do more and more of what I just have the greatest heart's desire to do. So it is a blessing. But those were the main things I wanted to share with you all. We don't have to be hard on ourselves if we fail, because I don't really, and of course, John Eric Moser, my friend and coach, he always tells us this, that it's not a failure if you learn from it, but it's not a failure if you tried. If you tried, it's because you were doing something that was bigger than you, and it's because it was, maybe you weren't ready to do it yet, or maybe you didn't have all the tools that you needed. But if you learned from it, and if you didn't give up and you tried it again better next time, then it's a success. It's more than most people do. If you fail, it means you tried, and that's what the important thing is, and that's how we grow that that spiritual muscle and that emotional muscle, and that's how we grow our self-confidence. And my gosh, and surround yourself with people who think that way. Surround yourself with people who say, okay, what do we need to do to help you get where you need to go? Whether you're in a hospital bed, or whether you're, half a country away, or whether they're in your own home, you need to have people around you who are going to say, let's do this. Or you go do this and I'll pick up the slack. It makes all the difference in the world. And, I'm so blessed to have all of that. I haven't always, but I do now. Always with my husband, of course. But I have found some friends who are so incredible in that way that it's just a blessing. And it's worth looking for people who are like that. It's worth pursuing those friendships. And it's okay to let go of the ones that aren't, that don't feed you, and that don't move you forward in your dream. Don't move you forward in what, God has put on your heart to do. So I've leveled up. I'm getting brave. I'm getting healthy. And I already had picked a word for 2020 that I was really excited about at the time that I picked it. And then, I don't know, in the last few months, I was kind of like, it almost exhausted me to think of the word. So, I wasn't that excited about it. But now I'm like, yes, this is going to be my word. This is going to be my life. And I'll share that later too. I don't want to give away everything. But now I am so on fire and so excited. And I'm having to make decisions on, okay, I can do this much. I want to do all of this, but I can do this and this, and really pray about what God is pressing on my heart at this moment. And then with an eye towards the other opportunities, because we never know what opportunities are going to come our way if we stay open to them. So the other thing that John Eric always talks about is leaving margin. You need to leave a little space in there for those unexpected blessings, either that you can receive or that you can give to other people. So you don't want to fill up every second of your day and night, which is how I've lived for years. Until I dropped in bed at night, I was go, 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 go. And you can get a lot done and do a lot of great things, but if you don't take the time to refuel yourself physically and emotionally and spiritually, you can't possibly do everything that you should be doing, that you want to do. So thank you all for admitting that I'm not the only one that has these struggles and these issues. I knew I wasn't. And I hope that by my sharing, what I've been experiencing the last few months, I hope that will help you. For one thing, for you to know you're not alone, but also to offer encouragement that it is possible to keep growing and keep improving. And even though my shoulders hurt tonight, tomorrow I'm going to do a couple more reps than I did this morning. And even though my legs hurt, I'm going to walk a little bit farther than I did this morning, because now I'm learning to like. That means I'm getting stronger. That's what my body's telling me, that I'm getting stronger. And that's really exciting. So that's all my words of wisdom for tonight. I really thank you all so much for tuning in and for sharing some of your journey and struggles with me as well. It really means a lot to know that that you all took some time out of your evening to tune in. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night and have a great week. and I will talk to you next Monday.